Um, the dogs are in here. They want to be a part of this. So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, good morning, Mr. and Mrs. America, and all the ships at sea. Welcome to a very special episode of The Sound of Coffee. It is a celebration for my mother, Marthan McCormick. Today is the 4-year anniversary since the passing of my mother. And rather than allowing this to eat me alive like it normally does, um, I instead decided to take this and do something with it. I decided to do something with it. Um, I am waiting on my older sister. Hopefully, she will be here. Um, I would really like it if she was, because my older sister knows a lot more about things than I do. But before I begin, yeah, I'm banned to the 10th, Jeff. Make that make sense. And here's the crazy part. Here's the crazy part. I'm banned on my TikTok page from going live, right? Right. Okay. Um, but for whatever reason, the appeal is submitted and I still haven't gotten an answer, but I'm banned till the 10th. Make that make sense. So before I begin, let me go ahead and give a shout out to our sponsors. The show is brought to you in part by Glitterwix. Go to glitterwix.com. Check out the hottest, freshest, newest scent on these candle streets. It is called Villainous. It is inspired by yours truly, Thomas the Villain Bishop. $18, glitterwix.com. I don't know why I do this because it doesn't go well over Zoom. You guys can't hear it. I don't know what the hell is going on. I just like doing that because, I got a soundboard now. The show is brought to you in part by Smooth California, skincare products that will make you look and feel your absolute best. Smoothca.online. Once again, y'all can't hear it. It doesn't even matter. I'm sitting here with a soundboard that I can't use just yet. Don't worry about it. Your man's working on it. And finally, this show is brought to you in part by Melanated Excellence, a celebration of the melanation. But remember, you do not have to be melanated to be a part of the celebration. Melexcellence.com. Once again, why am I playing this? You can't even hear it. I'm playing it because I'm a jackass. Thank you, Jeff. I appreciate that. Like I said, 4 years ago today, we lost the matriarch of our family. We lost the greatest woman any of us have ever known. We lost our mother, Martha Ann McCormick. Every year since that day, when this day comes, I always wallow in the loss of my mom. Except this year. This year, I decided not to focus on the loss of my mom, but to focus on the joy of my mother. Now, first and foremost, if you have lost a parent, whether it's your mom or your dad, you have my sympathies, you have my condolences. May their memories be a blessing and a guide to you. And I am saying that as an atheist. May your parents' memory be a blessing and a guide. My mother was born in 1936, September 9th, 1936. She was the second oldest child of Thomas Kiris and Estelle Kiris. my grandmother and my grandfather and grandmother. I am named after my grandfather. I am named after my grandfather. Mom was raised in Dillon, South Carolina, where she left shortly thereafter to move to New Jersey. In New Jersey is where she met my father, Robert Lee, who has also passed away. Together, they had 5 kids. My oldest sister, Belinda, myself, my sister, Elizabeth, my brother, Robert, a.k.a. Rocky, a.k.a. the Saint, and my sister, LaQuisha. My father left when I was 11 years old. And I believe the legend of my mother probably started long before that, but I didn't realize it until she became center stage. If I was going to name this show, I would name it Mama's Recipe. Because Mama's Recipe is part of my mother's legend. My Mama's Recipe is a part of my mom's legend. So I've told this story on TikTok. I will tell it again for the radio so that you guys get a chance to hear it, because it shows you the ingenuity that my mother had. My mother was working 2 jobs, and we lived in Section 8 housing, right? So we were between food stamps, like they give you food stamps in the beginning of the month, and we're towards the middle of the month or what have you. We were also in between my mom's paycheck. So, you know, we didn't have a whole lot of food in the house, except for ground beef and pork and beans. I love telling this story. I don't care. I love telling this story because, it shows the ingenuity of my mother. So Mom said, I'm going to make Mama's Recipe. We don't know what the hell that is. What is Mama's Recipe? You'll find out. So my mother goes in. She grills ground beef. Puts it in the pot with the pork and beans. We eat it. She puts a little salt, a little seasoned salt, stuff like that. We eat it. It's delicious. It is a legendary food. It has been part of my staple ever since. My wife now makes it. It's so crazy because it's something very simple, but my mother was able to put magic on it because she gave it that name, Mama's Recipe. So if you have a cookout, because I know this happens, a lot of people have cookouts where they have their baked beans with ground beef in them. I don't care who you are. I don't care where you're from. I don't care when. If you serve that to me, that's Mama's Recipe. That's all I know it is to be. My mother never made one of my track meets, not a single one. But she did make every one of my parent-teacher conferences. Because my mother had to work, I didn't expect her to make my track meets. I did, however, expect her to make parent-teacher conference, because parent-teacher conferences are parent-teacher conferences. Don't get it twisted. It was my mother that taught me the basic fundamentals of being an adult, of being a grown man, right? Exactly, Marco. Mama's love, it's the secret. That's what it is. It was Mom's love that was the secret. That was the secret ingredient. I did not realize these things as a child. I didn't. I had no idea of these things as a child. Mom had an 11th grade education. She dropped out in the 11th grade to, I think it was to help my grandmother, because my grandfather had passed away. And Mom, being the second oldest child, she did what she had to. But that's why she stressed education to us. Parent-teacher conferences, like, come on, man. Moms ain't missing no damn parent-teacher conference, partner. Nah. And if you was screwing up, they That was coming out during parent-teacher conference. Remember that time you skipped fifth period? Guess what? Your teacher remembers, and now your mom knows. Ha ha ha. My mother was a strict disciplinarian. She wasn't playing that bullshit. But she was also, my mother had a code. My mother had a code that she taught me. Now I get it. In today's day and time, the idea of men not hitting women, there's a gray area, that sort of thing. It wasn't no gray area with my mama. None. Wasn't no gray area with my mother. There was no gray area with my mama. I'm telling you that right now. There was not a single solitary gray area with my mother. When it came to mom, you didn't put your hands on a girl. The end. That's it. There was no gray area. So the very first time I ever found myself in a situation where I almost was in a fight with a girl, hey, Reverend Nick, I need your address. Reverend Nick, I need your address. I got to send you something. And if somebody could find Rabbi Hannah, I need her address as well, please. Stop BSing around. So the first time I ever found myself in a situation where I had to fight a girl, I wasn't scared of the girl, even though she was twice my size. I was more scared of my reaction to my mother. And sure enough, I got the reaction you would think I would get when you hit a girl, right? Whoopi in the house. Yeah, Pete, they are. So, but then my mother did her due diligence. She literally went up and spoke to my school and found out exactly why the fight happened. And see, my mother was not big on the, oh, I'm so sorry. No. I would just get some food. That was how my mother apologized to me. To give me some food. Sweet potato pie, banana pudding, something like that. You know, just food. Listen. But my mother was big on education. She was extremely big on family. Like, I think my mother put into my siblings and I the idea that family means something. Mom didn't have a whole lot of friends. She had friends. Don't get me wrong. My mother wasn't some isolationist. Mom was not some sort of isolationist. Mom had friends. She had a lot of friends. She really did. Because mom was like the life of the party. I think that's why my mother and father's dynamic, even as crazy as it was, it worked. Because my father was gregarious. Like, to be in the presence of Robert Lee McCormick, it was wild. It was wild. The man, my father was not an educated man. Okay, please understand that my father wasn't an educated man, but what he didn't have in education, he made up for in just larger than lifeness, right? He's this huge, larger than life person. You know what I mean? Life of the party, tells the best stories, loudest one in the room. His laugh made my laugh sound bad, and that's saying something, right? But then there was my mother, who was the tempering side of that. You know, she was the nurturer. You know, I when I was a kid, this is a story I don't think I've ever told anybody. When I was about 4 or 5 years old, I couldn't walk. I was outside playing like any other normal kid, right? And then I go in and take a nap, because you got to take a nap when you're me. I wake up, I can't walk. I literally cannot walk. everything from the waist down. I could not walk at all. So they took me to the hospital, and they didn't know whether or not I had spinal meningitis. They didn't know any of this. But I was in isolation for a month. I was in isolation for an entire month by myself. I think in a lot of ways that's where I went a little bit crazy as a kid, because the only people coming in to see me are nurses, and I can't walk, and nobody's telling me what the hell's going on. I had a spinal tap. I had and I didn't have the the really cool one where they keep you awake. I mean, they let you go to sleep and then they do a spinal tap and shit. You know what I mean? No, I had the old fashioned, hey, if you move, you ain't gonna be able to walk ever again. Well, bitch, I can't walk now. So what difference does it make? So this whole time, I'm thinking everybody abandoned me. What I didn't know is my mother was losing her rabbit ass mind. Mom was out there daily. She couldn't see me. I didn't realize this. I didn't realize this until my older sister told me this. This is my sister Linda that told me this. Hey, you do not understand. Mom almost went crazy. Like there was gonna be some violence. There was gonna be some misunderstanding. My mother was the original misunderstandings and furniture moving. Like I'm not no bullshit. My mother was the original. My mother was the original misunderstandings and furniture moving. If y'all truly want to know where it came from, a lot of the phrasings and shit that I have came from my mother. My mother was about to lose her shit. And again, I didn't know any of this. My older sister had to tell me. But my mother was about to whoop ass. Like, if you don't get my kid up out of here, tell me where my child is before I whoop your ass. Like, my mother was the original misunderstandings and furniture moving. I'm gonna get to them stories. Like, listen, when I tell y'all, my mother, thank you, Dave. Mama McCormick, but she admitted, bet. But when mom said it, she was like, stand right there, bitch. Everybody, when I was a kid and I grew up in the projects, if my mother says, stand right there, bitch, don't. Listen, my mother was prepared to send anybody to the upper room. If you messing with her kids, oh, nah, son. Nah. Stand right there, bitch. That was the original bet. Oh, my God, I miss that woman. But, so I didn't know that my mother was losing her rabbit ass mind. I had no idea. I was a kid. I didn't know I only knew what I could see. Nobody came to see me except for the nurses. I was in a room I'll never forget this. I was in a room with a little white baby. Okay. I was like 4 or 5. I'm in this room with this little white baby. It's on the other side of the room. The baby cried constantly to the point where one day, and mind you, I can't walk. I literally crawled out of a crib with no legs, fell on the floor, crawled across the room to crawl into this baby's crib to hold the baby so the baby wouldn't cry. The nurses told my mother that story. Now, that story I do remember. I crawled out of my own crib with no legs. So imagine being a tadpole. I crawled across the room, climbed up into this crib with this baby. Because I'm like, if ain't nobody gonna keep this damn baby from crying, then damn it, I'm gonna have to, like, I was like, Thanos, fine, I'll do it myself. I had to be done, man. Had to be done. So I crawl over, and the nurse even came in. It's like, oh my God, you crawled into the cage, into the crib with this baby and kept the baby. Like, come on now. I'm just saying. But what I didn't know is my mother was raising 5 circles of hell type hell. right? Because that's how fiercely she believed and loved in her kids. You know, like I said, my father was this larger than life person, and then there's my mother who's the realism. Um, the day after my father left the first time, my mother cried for exactly one day. Got up, cried, went back to bed, cried. Yeah, exactly. Thank you, Mr. Marco. Yes, military walking. No legs. Look like a skull crawler from Kong Skull Island. None of y'all can hear that. I'm just sitting there laughing. None of y'all can hear the fact that I just used a laugh. I'm just saying, I can't wait to figure out how to put this soundboard in this thing. But yes, I I literally look like one of the skull crawlers from Kong Skull Island, crawling across here helping this baby. You know what I mean? So, but my mother was the realistic person. You know what I mean? Like I said, she cried for exactly one day the first time my father left. The next day she went out and got a job. That's how my mother was. You know, she's gonna take the time to mourn, but then damn it, I got kids. I got shit to do. I got to go take care of these kids, right? If you look at any of my brother the Saints videos, he talks about the best Christmas. You know what I mean? I came back here for the soundboard. Hey, WW, can y'all even hear the soundboard? Be honest. If y'all can't hear it, then damn it, I'm gonna have a problem. Can y'all even hear the soundboard? Give me a thumbs up if y'all can hear the soundboard. Let me watch. We'll try this. See what I'm saying? Yeah, you know what I'm saying? It's ridiculous. Video's better than see? Sound is better here. Videos. Yes, Marco. My mother was a real one. So, hey, Jess, I know. See, and that's what I'm saying. Um, so my mother, exactly. Thank you, Cody. I appreciate that. But my mother was, that's how she was. My mother was the one that taught me that, like I said, the basics, got them. How to pay a bill, how to write a check, how to balance a checkbook. All right. How to read a contract, how to read a lease for rent, how to fix a tire, how to check your oil. My mother taught me these. My mother taught me these things. Okay. Then she hit a point where there was stuff that as a man she couldn't teach me. So she taught me, she told me this. There are certain things I cannot teach you. So I want you to go learn them, but then you're going to run them past me. All right. I tell the story. I lost my virginity at 14. Okay. When I was 13, she sent my uncles in. And let me tell you something. I don't know if I told it. Let me talk to you. I've told this story before too. My version of the birds and the bees came from two totally different men with two totally different mindsets. Totally. First off was my mom's little brother, Uncle Bubba, James Kears, who has also passed away. Yep, how to do the laundry. Yes. Jeff. How to separate whites from coloreds. I know that sound from colors. Coloreds. Did I say coloreds? I said coloreds. I said colors. My bad. Like, yes. When you have some nice uh um when you have some nice blue jeans and then you pour bleach on them. See, I was acid washed before acid wash was acid wash. You know what I mean? And I learned. She's like, you screwed up them damn jeans, did you? Yes, ma'am. I bet you won't put no damn bleach on them damn jeans, will you? No. I got my ass whooped for messing up a pair of good jeans. That's all I'm gonna tell you. So I get the birds and the bees first off from my uncle Bubba, Uncle James, who's also passed away. And if you could imagine Al Green, your racist mother, shut up. Listen, if you could imagine Al Green giving you the birds and the bees, you will understand what it was like when my Uncle Bubba came and talked to me about sex. Dear, 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 dear. Dear, 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 love and happiness. Ah, dear, 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 love and happiness. That was my Uncle Bubba. With when a man loves a woman, they get together, their bodies touch, intimacy. But it sounded like Al Green was telling me this shit. It's 3 o'clock in the morning. Ah! That was my uncle. Right? Right? Then there was our family friend, Morris Winfrey, who Morris and Elsie were friends of my mom and dad. So I call them Aunt Elsie and Uncle Morris. So Uncle Morris comes in. Uncle Morris is a lot like my dad, who is a horn doggish of the horn dog. Hey, watch this. Watch me blow the minds of all the white people that listen to and watch this show, and the black folks who listen and watch this show are gonna know exactly who I'm talking about. Y'all remember Marvin Sense? Hey, Chaos King, I know you know who Marvin Sense is. So, bitch, you 2 years older than me. You know who Marvin Sense is. Oh, my God. Jessica, if you don't stop ironing shit for people, girl, come on now. Tell people to iron their own shit. Listen, Marvin Sense, Candy Liquor. Y'all, listen, can't li- that was my Uncle Morris coming and speak to me about sex. And let me tell you something. You have not lived as a young 13-year-old black man raised in the projects until one of your uncles tells you about the clap. And you were sitting here listening to this destructive conversation about what the clap and gonorrhea can do to your penis. You have not lived until you have looked at your shit like, no. My uncle had me looking at every strand of urine that came out of my penis for a week. The clap was, listen, I was afraid. I'm serious, man. Listen, I know this was like 40 years later, but that that Joe Budden Afraid song was literally going on what was going on in my head every time I took a pee after my Uncle Morris talked to me about gonorrhea and the clap. He started talking about burning penis, and I'm like, what am I afraid of? These supposed to be the things are made of. People out hanging out and hang with always look at me as like I age. Shit. I'm looking at my penis like, what am I afraid of? Like that man said burning. I was like, wait. Hold up, hold up, hold up, hold up. Wait a minute. Burning? Burning? I'm looking at like I am literally looking at my penis like, is there gasoline on this, son, bitch? I almost didn't lose my virginity till I was like 40. After listening to that shit. And then Eddie Murphy, I listened to the original Eddie Murphy. Um, no fire shoot out my dick. A burst of flame come out my penis when I pee. What am I afraid of? But after this, after these two conversations for these two very unique men, shout out to them. I love them, miss them both. Thank y'all for just being the men that you both were. I got Al Green singing while my penis is on fire. I don't know. I don't know if that's supposed to. I don't know what the correlation for that is. I don't know how I'm supposed to handle that level of misinformation. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what I'm supposed to do with that. I don't. 3 o'clock in the morning. What am I afraid of? But after that, my mother insisted that I go get a condom. Mm. And let me tell you, the way my mother described it, and again, this is part of the legend that is Martha Ann McCormick. The way she described it was like a balloon. She said it looks like a balloon, Thomas. You need to go get some. You need to go get some. I'm looking for balloons in the pharmacy, y'all. My mother realized that her son had an overactive imagination. I don't know why the hell she told me to go look. Mr. Marco said, struggle love condoms. It looks like a balloon, Thomas. You mean the ones we get from the circus? It looks like a balloon, Thomas. Struggle love condoms. Imagine my 13, 14-year-old ass looking in the corners for balloons that say condoms on it. Come on, man. Struggle love condoms. Oh, shit. That woman. Oh, my God. And Peter said, the advice I got at 12 from my neighbor telling me to stop looking at his wife's big ass. Woo! They look like a balloon, Thomas. You mean like the ones we get at the circus? Yes, like a balloon, Thomas. Excuse me, mister. What do you want, kid? Can you show me where the condoms are? Here you are, kid. These don't look like balloons. Struggle, love. Oh shit. This is why why when I hear clap, I think swole meat. Hey, Ghost Hulk, that's a different type of swole meat, dog. That's a I'm telling you right now, buddy. That's a different type of swole meat. That's not sexy. That 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 requires surgery. That's the type of swole meat that you need to go talk to a doctor about. Hey, Chris, thank you, man. Thank you, Chris. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. Hey, Chris, I hope things are going well for you, man. I know you've been down for the past couple of days. If you need me, just reach out, brother. Please reach out. I'm just saying. That swole meat. If your swole meat requires you to go see a doctor, and they start talking about surgical procedures, that's not the swole meat you need. That's that's what happens when you don't wear struggle love condoms. I don't know what I did. I went out with that girl a couple of weeks ago, and I ain't felt right since. What do you mean? I had swole meat. What do you mean swole meat? I mean it's swole up, and it won't go down. It it's discolored in certain places. Struggle love condoms. Listen, my mother, my mother loved when we laughed. When, like I was saying, when my brother the Saint talks about the greatest Christmas or the best Christmas ever, he's talking about the time my mother. This was the Christmas right after my father had moved and we had moved. My father had left and we had moved into Section 8 housing. Um, my mother and my older sister scrambled to make sure we had gifts and lots of them. Right. That's what. That is what my mom loved. That was one of her, like that. If you had asked her, that would have she would told you that's one of her crowning achievements. She was able in 6 7 months to go from living at my uncle Bubba's house to living in her own house to buying her kids all these Christmas presents. And I mean, we had presents, not a few. We had a bunch of them, right? And that hold on, Hurricane Girl said that nut water had expired. When do you drink your Laura Loomer nut water? Right after you use struggle love condoms. Hey, eventually the Sound of Coffee will have its own merch. Okay. Eventually the Sound of Coffee will have its own merch. Um, if y'all don't think nut water, Saint swole meat, and the Boat bird will not be on some merch, you out of your rabbit ass mind. I'm trying to tell you. Some of y'all gonna be walking around here with some Sound of Coffee nut water shirts, and people gonna ask you, okay, why is it called nut water? Y'all gonna have to get into a whole long ass conversation about a bottle that's on the front with a silhouette of Laura Loomer's face that just says LL's nut water, and y'all gonna be sitting around trying to explain the joke. Man, you had to have listened to the Sound of Coffee to get it, bro. Like I'm just saying, I don't know what to tell you, man. Y'all listen, y'all gonna be walking around here with a struggle love condom box on the front of a t-shirt. Try to I want that to be the new cool thing. I want to see Tyler the Creator making a video with a struggle love condoms t-shirt on the front. What? Watch all the hip kids come up and go, bro, isn't that the t-shirt that Tyler was wearing during tour? Yeah, man. He also got another one called Nut Water. When that happens, I'm gonna look like the Great Gatsby. But anyway, so my mother scrambled her ass off to make sure we had the best Christmas ever, and it was. It absolutely was. It was the best Christmas. We didn't have like a bunch of expensive, extravagant gifts. Like I think the most expensive thing my mother bought for me that year was one of those Tecmo baseball games. You know, with the little blips. You press a button, it look like, boop, and you hear, and then you see you running across the bases. You see the score go up. I'm like, yo, I had a bunch of Star Wars figures because I was the Star Wars aficionado in my family. My father thought it was bullshit, but my older sister really believed in that. Like my sister Linda would go to see, like my sister Linda went to see The Empire Strikes Back, and then she was asking me. I hadn't even seen the movie. All I did was read the book. That was all I did. I read the book. My sister's like, okay, Thomas. So we went to go see yes, Tiger, yes, Jeff, yes. He knows what I'm talking about. You press a button, and you hear, wow. That was a strike or a strikeout or, whatever. They caught the ball, whatever. Anyway, so my sister calls and like, hey, or she asked me, so we went to see The Empire Strikes Back. What's those tall things that they're like really big and they have like on all fours? I said, oh, at. She said, what? An at. AT. Highly intelligent kid. I was living in a world where everything had to be slowed down. Hey, Peter, if you don't think there won't be a struggle love hoodie, you out your rabbit ass mind. Struggle love condoms. The hoodie. Trust me. There's going to be a struggle love hoodie. There is absolutely going to be a struggle love condoms hoodie. Hey, and for the ladies, I'm gonna make sure to get the Saint Swole Meat shirts in tank tops, women's tank tops. That way, you can make your boyfriend jealous just by him looking at this shirt. Man, I don't like that shirt. I don't even know that guy. Get on my nerves. I will rock that. Give me a 4X. Got you, Ghost. Got you. Hey, uh, Dave, you get with Angry. Get with Angry. Hey, Angry came up. Oh, yes, it will be a zip up. Angry came up with 3 new logos for the Villains Guild. We don't give Angry enough love. We do not give the Angry IT Nerd enough love, period. Bruh man is a damn artiste. Struggle of console, but not water. Actually, there might be a equation on there. Struggle love condom, or no, nut water minus struggle love condom equals baby. Don't play with me, boys. This ain't my first rodeo. So, my mother was like a force. She's like a force of nature. You know, the more years that we lived with her, the more I saw the woman that she was. My mother wasn't perfect. I'm going to sit there and say she wasn't. She'll tell you she wasn't. But it wasn't perfection that made my mother so great. It was her heart. Mom lived for us. I know in this day and age, women are forced to make the choice of being a mother or a working woman. And society has made it to look like that those choices, either one of those choices is a bad choice for a woman. I don't know where that came from because that's not the woman that I was raised with. It just isn't. The woman I was raised with did both. The woman I more than anything, the one thing I can honestly say that would best exemplify the love that I have for my mother is this. She taught me that you can be both. You can be both. I I give I make sure to tell women that there's no choice. One does not demean the other. You can be a working woman and admire stay-at-home moms. You can be a stay-at-home mom and admire working women. I should know. I had that. I had them both. I had them both. Like I said, my mother never made it to one of my track meets, and I never expected her to. I never expected her to. I was never like, oh my God, mom didn't come to she didn't come to my track meet. No. I knew she had to work. I knew my mother had 2 jobs. But I also know for a fact when it mattered, my mother was there. She taught me how to wash my clothes. She taught me how to pay my bills. Here's the craziest thing. I borrowed the Straight Outta Compton album from a friend of mine. I came home. It's Straight Outta Compton, kids. Okay? Straight Outta Compton. Mom had bought me a stereo system, and I had headphones. I thought I was just going to go in there. If the police come straight from the... Martha wasn't having it. What is that, Thomas? An album? Where'd you get it from? I borrowed it from a friend. What's them boy's name? NWA. What does that stand for? So I told her. She's like, oh, no. She started looking at the tracks in the back. Mom's like, okay, we're gonna listen to it. I'm like, huh? What? We gonna lip? Why? Why are we listening? Mom, you want to listen to this with me? She's, oh yeah. We're gonna listen to the whole album. I'm like, oh shit. So one Saturday morning, we listened to NWA. And my mother went through and was telling me what I could and couldn't say based on that album. You better not ever say that. My mother liked F the police. Because she didn't like the police either. But she was like, you better not be out there having to say it. Yes, ma'am. Let me tell you something. Moms was not having it, boy. Moms was not having it. Listen, sweating all the bitches in the biker shorts, I couldn't say that. I'd have got smacked in the mouth, literally. My mother would have hit me in the mouth. She wouldn't even let me finish the saying. Sweating all the pop. What would you hit me for? I know what she was about to say. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. And this, mind you, was from a woman that worked 2 jobs. 2 jobs. So I literally do not want, I've never believed in that idea that a woman has to be one or the other. I don't know who this, let me help y'all understand something. Hold on, let me help y'all understand something, but let me reset the show before I go. This is a very special episode of The Sound of Coffee, a celebration of my mother, Martha Ann McCormick, on the anniversary of her passing. My name is Thomas Bishop. I'm known as the villain. I'm the good-looking one because my mother told me I am. This show is brought to you in part by Glitterwix. Go to glitterwix.com. Check out some candles and merchandise from some of your favorite content creators, myself included. Glitterwix.com. The show is brought to you in part by Smooth California. Skincare products that will make you look and feel your absolute best. smoothca.online. And finally, this show is brought to you in part by Melanated Excellence, a celebration of the melanation. But remember, you do not have to be melanated to be a part of the celebration. melexcellence.com. So I never understood demure women. And the reason I can say I've never understood them is because I wasn't raised around them. My mother is one of the strongest human beings that I've ever known. And my mother was the queen of fighting for hers. Like I told y'all, if you ever heard "stand there, bitch," my mother was going for the heat. and in the heat was in the form of one of them boom boom sticks. She didn't have a boom boom stick. She had the boom boom stick. You know what I mean? So, yeah. I thank you, Jeff. I can't. I've done sad 3 years in a row, and it's not getting any better. So I gotta celebrate. I have to celebrate. You know what I mean? So again, if my mother said, stand right there, bitch, she was going to get that Hadouken. She wasn't coming out with the ping. My mother was coming with some shit that, listen. And believe me when I tell you, the hood knew. Y'all better leave. She got that gun. My mother was the queen of time. Stand right there, bitch. Stand right there, bitch. Hold on. And literally, nope. Hey, Marco, no. She just had that boom boom stick. And trust me, when I tell you my mother was like, stand there, bitch. That's exactly what it was. She put her hand up like this, stand there, bitch. I'll be your bitch. Like my mother was like, I'll be your bitch. Stand right there. And she was going in the house. And if mom went in the house, all arguments was about to end. Listen, tonight, my mother was the queen of stand right there, bitch. And if you stood there, I'm trying to tell you, somebody was going to the upper room at the expressway. My mother was sending people, listen, you was going to a homegoing celebration in 15 seconds. Real crazy as shit, man. It was crazy as shit. My mother kept that thing. Like, she kept that thing. So there's that thing, and then there's that thing. That's why I understand about I need 18 AR-15s. My mother needed one boomstick. That was it. She needed one. And everybody got the message. You don't need to go running around trying to find your AR. My mother went right to the car. That woman was the queen of wanting to send people to the upper room. All right. If you heard, stand right there, bitch. Leave. Run. It's like Eric Rowan. Run. So when I say I don't understand this, we want women to go back to the old days of, you know what I mean, when men went out and hunted and fished and shit, and women stayed home and made babies. I don't know who that woman is. I wasn't raised around her. You can tell what type of relationships I've always desired based on the woman that would raise me. You know, give me a woman that's smart. Give me a woman that's strong. Give me a woman that's ready to fight for her own. Give me a woman that doesn't need me, but wants me in her life. That was my mother. That was my mother. The hell I look like? I want a traditional woman. I ain't never met one. Never. Tradition, these nuts. I never met no traditional woman. I don't even know who the hell they are. What the hell does that even mean? I want a traditional woman to do traditional woman shit. What the hell is that? I was never raised around traditional women. I was raised around unconventional women who did extraordinary things because they had to. My mother taught my sisters to fight for their brothers. Not, oh my God, I'm going to call the cops. No, my sister was like that. Come on, get some. Get some. I used to say long before the breakup of our family that if I'm ever walking down a dark alley and I see two or three men getting ready to harm me, and I look back and I see my friend Dottie, who I've known for over 30 years, or my sister Lizzie, I know we good. Because I know we gonna be all right. listen, we gonna fight our ass off. Dottie and I are gonna fight together because again, I've known Dottie for over 30 years. I consider her my sister. And my mother embraced her as her daughter. So to make you know what I mean? But my sister Lizzie was raised like that. My sister Linda was raised like that. My sister Quisha was raised like that. The boys, oh hell, we were absolutely raised to, hey, you better fight. You better. Hell, you mean you left? There was no backing down. McCormick's looked out for each other. We fighting. It is one. I don't know where this idea of traditional womanhood comes from because I've never in my entire life ever been raised or raised around one. I don't know what this shit is. When I tell y'all, this makes no sense to me. I'm not saying that to kiss ass to women. I'm saying it because I've never seen that shit before. This demure, oh, I'll just stay home and cook the food and raise the babies. What? Excuse me? Like, who are these people? Who, like, hey, these your mans? Like, that's how I feel. This is a genuine understanding. I was never raised by a woman like that. My mother worked 2 jobs, raised us, my mother's greatest achievement, and I know this is going to sound whatever to a lot of people, but my mother's greatest achievement was none of us ever went to prison. None of us ever went to jail. None of us ever got arrested. None of us ever had drugs on us or shot in a drive-by. None of that shit. My mother was proud of this. She was proud of this. That she raised good people. Now, are we getting along right now? No. Are we ever going to probably get along again? Probably not. I'll be the first person to say that. Egos happen. I have not spoken. This makes 4 years I have not spoken to my 2 little sisters. This makes 4 years. That is not a reflection on my mother. That is a reflection on my sisters, but it is not a reflection on my mother in any way, shape, form, or fashion. I don't know who in the hell these weak-ass women that men want. I don't know who these women are. I was never raised by that. I was never raised by that. I literally was raised with strength. That just because, oh, I'm born a woman, you supposed to look down on me? You out your rabbit ass mind. And all the bullshit that passes for conversations about sex and sexuality, again, I don't know what any of this shit means. I don't. 2 of my mother's best friends in life was a gay man and his lesbian sister. Two of my mother's best friends in life, both of them were co-workers that became extremely good friends and family, was a gay man and his lesbian sister. Mom said the same thing about it. Hey, they're children of God, ain't they? Yeah. We don't hate people because of stuff like that. We don't. It was my mother that taught me. People are going to be people. Trust them to do exactly what they're going to do. Now, mind you, again, my mother had an 11th grade education, but she was one of the most strategically smart human beings I've ever met in my life. She was the one, a lot of the stuff that y'all see me talking about, my mother was the one that taught me these things. She put the impetus and stuff like that. Now, my love of politics came from my dad. But the thirst for knowledge came from my mom. I was a smart kid at 4 and 5 damn years old. And I was hyperactive. Let me go ahead and tell y'all something else. My mother realized I was a hyperactive kid. And yes, she did try to get me put on medicine. She did try to get me put on Adderall back in the day. You know what I mean? No, my mom did not know Saint say swole meat. I think my mother would have laughed if it like my mother would have laughed her ass off if she could see half the shit that I do on TikTok. You know what I mean? But she knew I was hyperactive. She took me to the doctor. She's like, hey, can you put something on? She's like, I'll put you on something. I ain't gonna put him on shit. I could have been unruly. I could have just been, you know, hey, he's hyperactive, just whatever. Put him in a corner, let him spin a dreidel or whatever, right? My mother wasn't having it. She put parameters on me. She did. She's like, just because you're different doesn't mean that you get the chance to act like you ain't got no damn good sense. And she did. You know, my mother put parameters on me. But she also cultivated things that I have used ever since. Like, mom loved the fact that I watched Sesame Street as a kid. She loved the fact that I could read, like, really, really well in kindergarten, element, like, not even kindergarten. Like, I started off in, like, I don't know, pre-K. I was one of the smartest kids. And I've told this story. I had a higher reading comprehension reading level when I went to Sweeney Elementary School in kindergarten than the sixth graders. And rather than my mother looking at me like, oh, I can't, she always told me, yes, you can. My mother's the greatest thing my mother ever taught me was you can do anything you set your mind to. You are just as good as anybody else walking around. Why y'all think I don't get I don't get heated when guys talk about my nails and shit? Why do y'all think I don't? Why do y'all think I don't? Because my confidence doesn't come from what other people think of me. My confidence comes from what I think of myself. And again, that was taught to me by my mother. She taught all of us that. She taught all of us that. All of us. And yeah, we might have bucked the system, might have bucked the trend or whatever, but we were always eventually ended up back to what mom was saying. Like, she was right. Damn it. She was right. Damn! She was right again. Shit. She was. She was. But my mother never really saw the greatness in her that we saw in her. She did. You know, we always told her, Mom, you know, you can get your GED. You know, you can get your general equivalency diploma, something that you didn't get a chance to get. She said, no. I it's too late for me. Mom's story would have inspired so many women, black, white, and otherwise. My mother's story would have inspired so many women. And my older sister and I told her this. We used to tell her all the time, Mom, you have this wellspring of knowledge. You should share it with other women. The empowerment that a lot of women need right now, or a lot of women are searching for right now, I saw that in my mom. The fact that, like I said, who is this demure ass deferring to your husband ass women that men want nowadays? I don't know who that person is. And I'm not saying that. A lot of people say, well, you just pandering to black women, you pandering to women. No, I'm so serious. I don't know who these people are. What woman is it that y'all want? Because I've never met that woman. Never. My mother is the reason I can tell you. When I see a woman, I see the inside of a woman. I see it. She was raised in me because she raised it in me. I don't look for, oh, you're going to submit to me because I was the man. I don't want all that. I do not want all of that. I don't. I want to, if we going to argue, we going to argue. It's going to be some ugly ass arguments, but you know why we're arguing in the first place? Because we give a shit. Because we give a shit. We didn't care, wouldn't be here. You know? And that is the thing. I think that is the biggest That is the biggest legacy my mother has given me. Because now I'm going to talk about the impact that my mother has had on me and my siblings. Okay. In a span of 3 years, we lost my mother. We lost her oldest sister, Aunt Lillian. And we lost a sister underneath her, Aunt Coco. In the span of 3 years, we lost the four of the five matriarchs of our family, or the four of the five elders of our family. My Aunt Roseanne is still alive. She is the youngest of the five. And in the span of 3 years, we lost three of them. And before that, we had lost my uncle, which was over 20 years before that. Right. I didn't realize how much of a legacy my mother left on me until I started to look at my own daughters and granddaughters. I don't see any limits in them. I don't. I don't see a single limit on any of them. I look at my sons and my grandsons and I say there is nothing you guys cannot do. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. But I don't see limits on them. I don't. I think that's where a lot of parents mess that up. And I think that's where they mess it up at. The idea that this child has to be limited. No. Absolutely not. What I think has blinded so many of us is the idea that there are roles, gender roles, biological roles. And no, there isn't. No. If a woman puts her mind and her soul and her body to it, she can be a ranger. She can be a SEAL. She can be part of the Recon Marines. I'm not saying this as some, I got to kiss women's ass. No, I'm saying it because it's absolutely true. This is why guys like Pete Hegseth saying women shouldn't be in combat. I mean, shut your dumb ass up. I'm like, I feel like Drake when Pete Hegseth says some shit like that. Pete, shut your whole ass up and make some drums. Like, you know what I mean? Like, why can't they? Of course women can be in combat. Has anybody that's ever served in the military, have you ever thought that a bullet or a round is gender specific? If you're in a battalion, and we're talking, hey, those of you who've been in the military, you know this. What is if you've been in the Army, what is your primary MOS? 11 Bravo, yes or no? Did you hear anything 11 Bravo woman version or man version? No, you are 11 damn Bravo. Get your monk ass out there and start popping them rounds. And again, it never shocked me. It never shocked me because I was raised by women like that. A woman will punch you in your shit. I don't want to hear anything about MMA training, but I do the Kimura and a woman can bust off too. The upper room. What is this weak shit? What is this? The idea of a woman president, okay. Again, this is how I was raised. I was raised that you are only limited by your entire imagination and your heart. You know what I mean? I was raised that you are only limited by your imagination and your heart. That's the only thing stopping you. That is the only thing stopping you. Your imagination and your heart. I was raised that you damn right you better see my color. Because when you see my color, you see the history I've gone through. You see the legacy of the things and the people that I have lived with, that I have learned from. You know what I mean? So you damn right you better see my color. But once you see it, you better acknowledge it, and then let's just go on from there. My mother didn't have white friends and black friends. My mother had friends who just so happened to be. That was her no that was her nom de guerre. I have friends who just so happen to be. I don't know what is this return to bullshit is. My mother raised me never to be impressed by somebody that flashes and talks a bunch of shit. She hated. Oh my gosh, she hated that. She hated that. Hated it. If you had a lot of money and you drove the fancy cars and all that other shit, my mother couldn't stand your ass. Cause she's like, you gonna die one day. That was her answer to everything. You gonna die one day. Oh, you got a fancy car. You gonna die one day. Oh, you got that big ass house. You gonna die one day. Oh, look at all that money you got. You gonna die one day. My mother also raised me to believe that these people put their pants on one leg at a time the same way I do. Here it is. 4 years later, my mother is still telling me the truth even when she's not here. I don't suck off Elon Musk. Do you know why? Because Elon Musk has not figured out a new way to put on his pants. Yes, thank you, Dave. She was like Pac. Until a rich man invents a new way to put on your pants that doesn't require you put in one leg at a time, bitch, why am I impressed with you? Why would I be impressed with you? Oh, you got a lot of money. Ooh. You gonna die one day. That was my mother's answer. She played the lottery just like everybody else. She gambled just like everybody else. My mother and I, the best times my mother and I's relationship was when we would go down to the casino together. Listen, one of the best stories I ever had in my life. We went, I had some money, she had some money. Not a lot. I had some money, she had some money. We go, and this was when they finally stopped sending our ass out on the damn river on them damn goofy ass casino boats, river boats. And they put the boat down and then built shit around it, right? So they had just opened this. This is Harris' brand new, fresh opening of this shit, right? We go in, it's about 9:30 at night. By, 1, 2 o'clock in the morning, actually it was about 3. It's about 3. We had almost been out of money. Hold on. Can't take it with you. Yep. He does steal ideas. So we're sitting there looking at each other. She's like, Thomas, I don't want to go home yet. Yeah, neither do I. She's like, I want to gamble some more. Said, me too. I said, how much money you got? I looked at my bank account. This is how much I had. She looked at her bank account. This is how much she had. So we took out like $200 a piece. Now, mind you, we had blown like maybe $300 a piece. It was like, okay, so this makes $500 that we have spent at the casino together, right? That's we ate breakfast and we went back in there and it was ass out jungle, baby. I started it off. I won a jackpot for like $800. While I'm getting paid out, my mother wins a jackpot for $1,500. I hear her. all the way across to the other side of the damn casino from where I'm at. So I'm literally getting paid out. I'm like, Ma, I'm thinking something bad done happened to my mother. They give my money. I haul ass. I'm running. Mom, what happened? I just want $1,500. I said, oh shit, Mom, you want $1,500? So, so she's waiting for them to come pay her out. I'm clapping. I said, Mom, I want $800. Yeah, so I said, I'm gonna go play poker because that was my thing. Video poker was my thing. It still is. She's like, okay, I'm gonna wait. So she's playing the machine next to her, waiting to get paid out from this jackpot. I start playing video poker. I hear again, haul ass over there again. She done hit a $3,000 jackpot on the machine she's playing while she's waiting for this shit to pay out. I'm hugging my mother. She is in tears laughing at we just having fun, right? So they finally came and paid her the $1,500. Then they got to go back and try to pay her. It was over $3,000. So when they paid her $1,500, my mother gave me $200. I'm like, Mom, I already got 8. She's like, no, take this 2. Don't play the 8. Play the 2. I said, okay, cool, whatever. So I take my mom's $200. I go back over playing video poker. First thing I did was hit 4 aces. That was 200. That was $250 by itself. So I have that in the tuck. Okay, I got the $200 in the tuck. I hit a royal flush. I scream, ah! She comes. Mind you, there are people in here. There are workers. There are degenerate gamblers that can't go home. There's about maybe 300 people in this damn thing, right? I scream, ah! She comes all in ass. What? 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 I said, Mom, I hit a royal flush. Oh, gods. She's now cheering with me. We are flush. Like there's money between the two of us. You know what I mean? So they cash out my damn 1,250 for the royal flush, the 200 for the 4 aces. They cash all of that out. I still got $100 for what my mother gave me, and I still have the 800 from when I started this shit. We got money. It is like, what the hell? Apparently, I got canceled over on TikTok. Go figure. I don't know what the hell that was about. But anyway, so so we're leaving. We gotta go. We have got to go. We got to get up out of here, right? And it's like 11 a.m. in the morning. Oh, Maeve, hold on. My emotional support animal died this morning while I was taking my son to school and my husband to work. Oh, Maeve, I am so sorry. I am so very, very sorry, Maeve. Oh, man. I'm so sorry, Maeve. My deepest condolences. Um, if you guys can, please send Maeve some love, please. Um, so it's like 11, 12, 9, 11, something like that. I don't even remember what time it was. That's how crazy it was. Both of us got all this money on us, but we're tired as shit. So we got to go home. Mom's driving. I'm in the passenger seat, and we are ducked down. The lights is hurting our eyes. The lights hurting our eyes, all kinds of shit, right? And we go home with all this money. We didn't end up putting it in the bank and shit. We pay bills, whatever. But that was the sort of relationship my mother and I, but like we bonded going to the casino. We bonded. She told me we talked. I know everything my mother felt about everybody in her life and in my life because I would take her. Exactly. Yeah. I had pimp money. Yes. Like, those were the moments. Like, I get it. People are going to look at it like, oh, wow, it was gambling. It was more than gambling for me and her. It was. It was our bonding moment. Um, what I have realized over the years is my mother was the second child. She was the second oldest of five. I was the second oldest of five. We had a unique relationship as being second children. You know, my mom will tell you, she would have told you in a heartbeat that her oldest sister was kind of a little bit flighty. I really don't know. Ma Lillian was just Ma Lillian, and I loved her anyway. But mom always felt like she had to be like, the fighter of the family. She had to be the person that, put up the fights and did for others, which is a lot of how I feel. I'll fight for others. You know, exactly. We did that second child. I don't know if there is a such thing called a second child syndrome. I don't know. Especially when there was five. Like there's five of my mom. There's five of us. My sister Quisha had five kids. My niece Oceana is is she's also a fifth child. So a second child of five. So I don't know if there is a bond that can be had of second children, but I know for a fact my mother and I actually bonded over just gambling. Yeah, we'd win some, yeah, we'd lose, but more than anything, it was the fact that we got a chance to actually just sit and talk to each other. You know, like I said, I knew everything my mother felt about every member of her family and mine, and all our whole family, whole thing, just off of those gambling moments, those gambling trips. It wasn't just, hey, we went out there and made a bunch of money. Hey, we went there and lost a bunch of money. It was always, hey, I got a chance to check and see how she was doing, and she would ask me how I'm doing. Um, every time I left the country, every single time I left the country, right? As soon as I get back, first thing mom would tell me, when you coming back into Kansas City, or when you coming home. When I lived in Kansas, it was easy. It was 2.5 hours. When I was stationed in Fort Riley, it was easy. It was 2.5 hours. When I was stationed in Fort Stewart, I had to make a trip for that shit. Like I gotta pack up the van and pick up people and shit on the way there and back, right? But every time, every single time, she'd ask me the second question. So we going to the boat? Yeah, mom, we going to the boat. Of course we're going to the boat. You know, once a month. When I got stationed in Fort Riley, and I was 2.5 hours away, it was a once a month trip. It was a once a month trip. I would drive down to Kansas City. Um, I would take my mom to the casino. I'd take her out to eat. We'd go and we just talked. That is the part that I think I missed the most. We had some we had some intense conversations. We had some funny conversations. We had some great conversations. Mom would tell me about things that were going on in her apartment or not an apartment, her retirement building. I would tell her about places I've been. Like when I got back from Korea the first time, and we went from Fort Stewart to Fort Riley. I brought my mother back a gift. I brought my mother a horse because my mother loved horses. My mother loved horses, loved them. She used to watch westerns just to watch the horse. She didn't give a shit about the dude on the top of it. She's like the horse. My mother loved horses. Absolutely, without question, one of her favorite things was horses. So One of the things that I had saw it in a shop in Itaewon was a carved horse. It was made out of wood. That damn thing is about that tall. All right. I couldn't wait to buy it and send it home. I couldn't. In fact, that horse I hand carried home because you got a tough box full of shit, military gear, stuff like that. I packed the majority. Like I had two of those, two big ass tough boxes. They wrapped them up and they sent them home. I had a suitcase with all of my regular schmegular gear, including, like they always say, pack with one uniform in case your stuff doesn't get there. So I always pack with two. Had my boots and everything, and I hand carried that horse home. Hand carried it, and Najee said the horse is a paid actor. I can relate. Yeah, she loved. Yes, she lived for those. Listen, those Clydesdale. Mom loved those damn Clydesdales. Mom thought those. Mom didn't give a shit about beer. She didn't care about the beer. She loved the horses. So I hand carried this horse home. Then I get back to Fort Stewart. We're packing up. We're leaving. We got to drive from very warm Georgia to very cold Kansas. Get there, unpacked. I still got this horse with me. So first time I get a chance to go down to Kansas City, I'll take Mom this horse. My mother was floored. She was floored. And my wife was like, don't just hand it to her. Got to put it in a package. Got to put it. I had a box and everything. Just trying to find a box big enough for this damn horse. Yeah, I mean. I said, Mom, I know it's early for Christmas, but I really want you to open this. This is a gift from me that I bought in Korea. And she opened it. And sure enough, it was a horse. And she freaked out. Mind you, I found a plea when I was in Afghanistan. This was 2010, 2011. They have like art. Like somebody does a picture and then they put it under glass, right? Under glass. And they had one of horses running across the prairie. Most beautiful thing I'd ever seen. They also have one of Da Vinci's Last Supper under glass. So I bought both of them. Da Vinci's Last Supper I gave to my sister, my older sister, Linda. The one with the horse is the one I gave with Mom. And when I tell you, my mother, I didn't know shit like that would make her cry. But it did. Like she cried. She had real tears coming out of her eyes. Like, oh, she's like, Thomas, you just don't know. This is the most beautiful thing. It was about that long. It was like about like that, or like that. Just a picture of horses running across the plains. And it's under glass. Like it really it looks like a paperweight, but it's a beautiful paperweight, and it has the little holders and stuff. Mom had that thing displayed in her house literally up until the day she died. But it was stuff like that that made me, because my mother was there for my journey in the military. That I think her greatest legacy is the fact that I was able to retire. You know what I mean? Like, mom knew that I wanted to be a soldier when I was a kid. You know, I didn't act an ass, because I wanted to be in the military. And Mom was there when that started. Mom came to see me graduate from Fort Leonard Wood. Mom was there when I got on the plane to go to Fort Leonard Wood, or got on the bus to go to Fort Leonard Wood. She was there. Mom was right there. She passed away a month before I got a chance to retire. A month before I retired, Mom passed away. But she was there. So naturally, mind you, of course I'm going to buy stuff for the wife because she's the wife. Of course I'm going to buy stuff for the kids because they're the kids. I'm the one that created my wife's wedding ring. A black diamond from Afghanistan and a white gold setting from South Korea. I made that. That's why that ring has more, it has sentimental value more than it has like, jewelry value or what have you. I'm the one that created it. I created my wife's the wedding ring she wears to this very day. I made, building a tradition, pass it on to the next person, whatever. But of course, I would go and get my mother's stuff. Of course, she was there. I wouldn't be. I'm in Afghanistan doing the job that I love to do, and my mother knew that I loved to do it. Of course, I'm gonna get her something. Hey, mom, here I went to Korea, mom. Here. Hey, mom, I went to Halifax, Nova Scotia. Here's a coffee cup. Hey, mom, I went to Afghanistan. I know it was a dangerous place. It was a war zone, but mom, here, this is for because I wanted her to know that she influenced the man that I am. That's not hyperbole. That's not I'm kissing mama ass because she's no. I mean that. I I I am what I am today because of that woman. Hurricane Girl said it in the comment section over YouTube. She didn't know she was going to birth a legion of villains. You're right. Unconventional people doing unconventional things because it's unconventional to do. Looking at society norms and saying, why am I doing that shit? Being a good person simply because you're supposed to be. Standing up to bullies. Fighting for those who cannot fight for themselves. Being as honest and open and as transparent as possible. Being your true self. For all you guys that hate the fact that I have black fingernails, you can never say shit to me because my mother knew I painted my fingernails black and she was okay with it. I will listen to all of your insults. I will laugh at them because the one person on earth who it wasn't that I was looking for validation, but when she told me it was okay, there wasn't shit you bastards could say to me. Nothing. Not one damn thing you could say to me. My mother knew I had hoop earrings. Guess what? She was okay with it. She was. She was like, that's my son. He is being himself. My mother is the reason I love the way I do. I do. I tell people, when I say I love you, people are like, oh my God, it's on the internet. I can't believe a guy on the internet said, I mean that shit. I mean that shit. I mean it. Do you know why I mean it? Because she loved me regardless. There was not amount of distance or time or location that my mother didn't love the person that I am. She says, I raised a good man. She says that about me and my brother. She said of me and my brother, I raised good men. The hell I look like looking for validation from a bunch of alpha bro He-Man types, and my mother would have laughed in their damn face. Like, really? You? Really? You real man. I never needed to try to act like something I'm not. I wasn't raised that way. That is the that is the legacy, a testimony to who my mother was. She was unconventional. And in the process of being unconventional, she raised unconventional people. She did. She did extraordinary things ordinarily. She bucked trends. That when people talk about the hood and black women in the hood, I don't know who these people are. Who are y'all talking about? Who are y'all talking about? Who in the actual F are y'all talking about? Who are these people? Like, explain this to me. The strength and power and love that I have for black women comes from that black woman. That black woman taught me, love who you want to love, but don't disrespect. That black woman taught me, love who you want to love, but don't disrespect. Because you got a black mama, you got black sisters, you got black aunts, you got black cousins. Don't disrespect. And you make damn sure that the woman or man, because you was talking to my sisters about this as well, that you marry or get in a relationship with or what have you does not disrespect you or where you come from. I've never wanted a weak woman. I've never wanted a submissive woman. I've never wanted that because I've never been raised around that. My mother didn't need pussy hats. She didn't. My mother did not need a pussy hat. She didn't need to go on no damn woman's march. She gonna tell you how she feels, and she gonna keep it moving. She gonna tell you exactly how she feels, then she gonna keep it moving. Hell, she need to stand up next to a bunch of other women screaming some shit. She can scream it to the dude that she mad at. My mother was F Donald Trump in 1989 along with my black ass. She raised me to love intelligence, not to run from it. To stand out rather than trying to fit in. Because when you stand out, more people that have are good character that stand out as well will be attracted to you. That is what my mother taught me. I think, especially in this day and time, when far too many people are reverting back to what they think is right as opposed to what is right but not popular, I think the world needs more Martha and McCormick's. I want more women in this world to find the strength to simply be you. Those limitations that you think you have or the limitations that society tells you you have, get rid of them. Why are you holding on to them? I'm not asking everybody to be like my mom. She had a hard life. She would tell you in a heartbeat. She's like, I always felt like the world, when I was born, the world put out a no vacant sign. You know what I mean? I would never tell you to walk the same path that she did. Please don't. But if you can take anything from my mother, if you can take anything from my mother, please take this. You're only limited by what you think. People like Nick Fuentes and Donald Trump and Charlie Kirk and shit, they don't matter. They don't. They're dogs barking at the wind. There's pussy. There is no need for a woman to be demure. There's no need for a woman to be subjugated to men. The hell is wrong with you? My mother would have never done that. Never. I need more women to start doing that. In the face of this bullshit, in the face of the way society wants y'all to act, I want more women to start saying, stand right there, bitch. Stand right there, bitch. Now, does that mean you got to come out with the yang yang? No, you don't. But when you tell them to stand right there, bitch, when you come back, blow their ass away. Show them the strength of what you truly are. Show them the person that lives in here. Do not ever dim your damn shine for anybody. Enjoy the time that you have on this world. Stop letting society pitch you working woman versus stay-at-home mom. Stop that shit. Stop letting society tell you it's an either or. There's no damn either or. You can do both or neither. There's no either or. The hell is this either or shit? I want to see more Martha and McCormick's in the world. From women and men. And men. Yeah. Yes, guys, you can be like my mom too. You can be always ready to learn, always ready to fight for what you stand on, always ready to accept, always ready to build, always ready to look at people as they are, not what your punk ass wants them to be. I want to see more people like my mother. My mother wasn't perfect. She'd tell you that. Her and I got into it a couple of times. We did. But I think my mother and I think this is what, this is what differentiates me and my older sister's relationship with my mom to my two little sisters' relationship with my mom. My older sister and I had a complete relationship with our mom, both good and bad. There was some ugliness. There was some joy. There was some fights, and there was a lot of hugs and tears and laughter and things of that nature. We had a complete relationship with my mother. But the one thing I think I miss the most about her is something that I see in society happening far too often. I miss her strength. I miss my mother looking at things, no matter how bad they are, and saying, oh, we can make it work. I miss the mama's recipe in society. Taking what little things you have and making something memorable. To this very day, I still eat mama's recipe. My wife will be the first person to tell you she can make it. I can make it. My brother can make it. My sister Linda can make it. My two little sisters can make it. We have spread it to our kids, and our kids can now make it. Mama's recipe. Ground beef and pork and beans. That's it. That is it. And it is a dish that has held up for over 40 years. And that's all it's known as. When you see it, that's mama's recipe. When you taste it, that's mama's recipe. When you know, hey, I got ground beef and I got pork and beans. Oh, I can make mama's recipe. That's the legacy of my mother. That is the legacy of my mother. I need to see more of that. This defeatist, demure bullshit, I don't understand it. I don't. It's the middle of the month. The food stamps is out. Paycheck ain't coming till next week. Kids got to eat. What are we going to do? Mama's recipe. Taking the ordinary and making something extraordinary out of it. That is the legacy of Martha and McCormick. That is a legacy that I will hold on to until the day I am no longer here. That is a legacy that I have taught my kids, that I am teaching my grandkids. That is a legacy that I put in every single person I call a brother, every person I call a sister, every person I call a friend. It is the legacy that I put into every single solitary video I have ever made in the entire time I have been on social media. It is that legacy right there. Taking something ordinary and making extraordinariness out of it. That is a testament to Martha Ann McCormick, my greatest teacher, my strongest advocate, my biggest cheerleader, my sternest disciplinarian, my queen, and I am her knight. I am eternally, from this day until my last day, I am eternally my mother's son. I am eternally my mother's son. So, if you like what I do here and would like to become a supporter, please think about becoming a supporter at patreon.com/Thomas the Villain Bishop. For as little as $3 a month, you can help me keep the lights on, help me keep the internet working, things of that nature. We are going to be going into the new year, and with the new year comes new possibilities and opportunities, meaning you're going to see me doing a lot more over on patreon.com. Um, I'm going to start a series called Dim Dogs, which features not Brownie, excuse my French, which features Bingo, Jersey, and the one and only incomparable curmudgeon himself, Alucard. So for $3 a month, for as little as $3 a month, you can help me support doing that. Patreon.com/Thomas Villain Bishop. If you are in, if you are still searching for a gift for your significant loved one, might I suggest a trip to Richmond, Virginia, where you can go to Bohemian Visions and get yourself a set of boudoir pics that are going to be unique, beautiful, and they will show off your absolute best self. BohemianVisions.com. Please tell them that the villain sent you. The show is brought to you in part by Glitterwix. Go to glitterwix.com. Check out some of the merchandise and candles from some of your favorite content creators, myself included. Glitterwix.com. The show is brought to you in part by Smooth California skincare products that will make you look and feel your absolute best. SmoothCA.online. And finally, this show is brought to you in part by Melanated Excellence, a celebration of the melanation. But remember, you do not have to be melanated to be a part of the celebration. MELExcellence.com. I want to thank you all from the bottom of my heart for helping me celebrate the life of my mom. I could have just done a show, laughed and giggled and joked and pretended like today isn't what it is, but I really wanted to talk, and you guys really, really helped me do this. So from the bottom of my heart, I thank you. My family thanks you. And in the memory of my mom, I thank you. I will get through today. I will be on my bullshit tomorrow, and I definitely will be on my flag on the Play Friday shit Friday. So this was just something I needed to do, and I am thankful for every one of you for being here, for however long you were here, wherever you were. I thank you from the bottom of my heart for this. And as we say every single day, kids, may your day be as sweet as the coffee in your cup. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been The Sound of Coffee, Mama's Recipe, a celebration of Marthan McCormick. If your mother is still here, take the time out to call her. If your relationship is good, please take the time out to call her, tell her how much you love her. If your mother is not in the picture, if your mother, if you and your mother have a strained relationship, then my mother says, I love you. For The Sound of Coffee, my name is Thomas Bishop. I will see you all tomorrow for Truthful Thursday. I love you guys. Be safe. Love, peace, and hair grease. Thank you guys. Thank you guys for helping me. I appreciate it. I genuinely do.